another chance. That's put on with traffic in front. Kochetkov makes the save. Now another shot put on. Kochetkov. Niet as Kucherov whacked at that one. And the Canes netminder has been called upon early to make a few big saves. Now they'll come up with a steal. And here comes a chance. Fresh Jarvis and Aho. Here comes Jarvis. He gets a shot. He scores! Short-handed! Seth Jarvis is red hot. His third goal in 3 games. 4th shorty of the year. And the Canes go up. Now a stretch pass for Hagel out in front. Cirelli, he clanks the metal. Kochetkov might have gotten an arm to help it get there, but Cirelli elevated that. Now he's behind the net trying to play his way around Walker. He turns, his shot low. Kochetkov stretches across, makes the save, and pounces on the puck as Nick Paul and Brennan Hagel were trying to stuff one home, and the Canes will hold the door.
Well, what do you know? Carolina Hurricanes won another hockey game. 5 in a row now. Finally, a guy wearing number 96 scored a goal. I've been working on that all night. Hi, everyone. It's the Canes Corner podcast. I am Adam Gold. Thank you very much for the time. If you're wondering, why is Gold so late? I had totally forgotten that the game started at 7:30, so I set the podcast to start at 10:45, not remembering that I probably should have gone at least to 11, maybe even 11, a little after 11. But anyway, we're here, and I wanted to get this, which is why I screwed up the highlights to start the whole thing. But it doesn't matter, right? Doesn't matter if you screw up the highlights if the Hurricanes win a game like that 4-1. Tons of stuff to talk about. We are brought to you by the Aluminum Company of North Carolina. If it is for the exterior of your home, you can find it at the Aluminum Company of North Carolina. No place like it. Sammy Han and his crew, they do a great job. You should check them out. Why don't we do this real quick? Because we're at the time of the season, I believe, where we scoreboard watch. And I'm in this mode right now. I have a little chart at the beginning of each week with each of the teams and who they're playing on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. What was today? Tuesday? I didn't know what day it was for most of the day. But if you're thinking about it in terms of, Carolina and playoff position and all of that, the Canes now are on 82 points. Washington is playing in Anaheim tonight. We're not even going to worry about catching the Capitals in the division. That's likely not going to happen. Washington would have to collapse, and frankly, I don't think they're going to. I don't know that I trust Washington in the playoffs, but, they could end up as the President's Trophy winner, and then in which case you go, all right, that's pretty good. They just might win it all. Who knows? And it is one of those Alexander Ovechkin years, isn't it? Anyway, Hurricanes go to 82 points. The Devils won. They beat Columbus. So the Devils are on 76. Canes still lead New Jersey by 6 with a game in hand. But Columbus is now 6 further back. Columbus has 2 games in hand on New Jersey, but the Blue Jackets stay on 70 points. Good for them. By the way, Ottawa is on fire now. Ottawa's won 4 in a row. The Senators are on 73 points in 64 games. Same as Columbus. They've each played 64. But the Senators, 73 points now, 3 clear of Columbus. And if you're thinking about, the Rangers lost in Winnipeg 2-1. Rangers have 68 points in 65 games. Only +3 over NHL 500. Rangers, look, they're playing better. They're right in it. We keep expecting them to take that next step. Hasn't happened yet. But right now it's Ottawa and Columbus in wild card positions. And if the season were to end anytime soon, Washington, as the top seed, would get wild card 2. Right now, wild card 2 is Columbus, so it possible was to have all Metro on one side and all Atlantic on the other. Ottawa's good. All right, that's a look at the standings. Now let's get to tonight. Probably could have saved that for the end. So where do you want to start? And by the way, why don't we start here with a couple of shout-outs, including one I don't think is true. And if I didn't get to you, it's because I really rushed to get this podcast going. Lewisburg, what up? Bluefield, West Virginia. Hot Springs, Arkansas. Lake Hamilton, don't you know? We have Caniacs in Tampa. Of course we do. Hoke County. McClellan something. I don't know. I apologize for getting it for my handwriting. I was trying to write fast. McClevensville. I don't know. I apologize again. Let's see. We've got Peterson Space Force Base in Colorado Springs. All right. Lancaster, PA. Hillsboro. Clemson, South Carolina. This one I don't believe. Antarctica? Get out of here. Antarctica. Don't believe it. Fayetteville, Greenville, South Carolina, Atlanta, and I'm sure a lot of other places. All right, let's get right to it. 5 in a row now for the Hurricanes, and tonight felt very Canes-ish. I thought for the first 30 minutes of this game, you could argue that at the very least Tampa was even. They were probably a little bit better than Carolina, just a smidge. Like, I thought the first period was pretty even, although I think Tampa had the better scoring chances. And we're going to talk about the goal in a minute. But in the first period, I think Pyotr Kochetkov was outstanding and also a bit lucky. He also got some breaks, not breaks necessarily, but great plays, desperation plays from his defense. There were times where Slavin, Aho, Burns, Chatfield did just great work to nullify scoring chances. And, you need that against Tampa, right? But Kochetkov also came up with a bunch of good saves. He got Yanni Gourde twice in the first period. To me, the save of the game was side of the net, Gourde deflection, and Kochetkov got the glove to it. Now, you could argue that he hit Kochetkov in the glove, but man, why is your glove there? It was a great save. And I thought that Kochetkov was just absolutely locked in from the beginning of this game and had to be. He had to stop Kucherov, although it wasn't necessarily a shot on goal. It might not have been on target because Kucherov registered no shots tonight. Kucherov, Point, Guentzel combined for 3 shots on goal. It's pretty good work, by the way. The line that drew them, for the most part, I was surprised at this. I thought we were going to see Staal, Martinook, and whoever played with them, as it turned out, Logan Stankoven. I thought we were going to see that trio play about 20 minutes tonight against the Kucherov trio. It was Aho, Jarvis, and Blake. They had the primary assignment tonight. They won that assignment. Whether it was puck possession or scoring chances, the Aho line had an 8-1 edge. Okay, this is according to Natural Stat Trick in high danger shot attempts, high danger scoring chances. Most of that from Blake and Jarvis. When we talk about the Aho line, it's almost unfair. We should call it the Blake-Jarvis duo. Those guys were phenomenal tonight, in my opinion. Loved every single thing about Seth Jarvis's game. Jackson Blake had 1 bad turnover in the first period, but he has the uncanny ability to forget the mistake he just made and just keep going. He was awesome tonight. It has been a minute since Jackson Blake has scored. I'm going to tell you exactly when the last time that was. It was against Columbus on January 23rd. So pardon me for doing this as we are talking on the podcast here. 5, 12, 16 games without a goal. I dare you to find somebody playing better as a forward without a goal in 16 games. He has been excellent. The kid continues to get better. He continues to make plays, great defensive plays. He hounds the puck. He gets it back. He creates opportunities. Maybe Jackson Blake is just waiting for the playoffs to start. I don't know. But I'm telling you, number 53 is good, really good. He makes teammates better. He can play with anybody. Awesome. Great game for him tonight. To me, one of the 3 stars in the game. Interestingly enough, and I've railed against the 3 stars before. I get when the Hurricanes are normally on the, FanDuel Sportsnet, and Henny Yates gets to do the interview at the bench. Normally, I whine about the 3 stars. I want them to be accurate, but I get it. We're doing bench interviews. So tonight, we got to do this. It'll be, he used to play here for a hot minute. What was his name again? I forget. He's some big Finnish guy, the Moose. So twice, he was the first star. He was not the best player in the game either time, but yeah, we want to pander to the crowd. That's fine. But we don't have the bench interview today because it was an ESPN game. Nothing is happening in the arena. Can we get the 3 stars right then? Sean Walker, sneaky indie band choice for one of the 3 stars. This is not about whether or not Sean Walker was good tonight. He was very good tonight, and he scored a goal, even better. First in 41 games without a goal until he scored tonight. The best player in the game, the reason why the Hurricanes won, was Pyotr Kochetkov, first star. Jarvis, second star. Blake, third star. Jacob Slavin was my player of the game because we have a sponsor for that, so we actually give out 4 stars. Slavin, for me, ended up being player of the game. But Chatfield, Gostisbehere, Walker, everybody on defense. Scott Moore didn't play a ton. Played a few more minutes than he did the other night. Played about 14 minutes. But, basically all 5 of the guys who played defensively in regular rotation were excellent. Jacob Slavin had the best -1 night you'll ever see. But there were so many guys who played so well tonight. I thought the 4th line, Roslovic, Robinson, and Jankowski, I thought they were good. I did. I thought Kotkaniemi, Hall, and who played on the other side of that? I actually forget now. And Tyson Jost. I thought they were good. It's funny. Staal and Martinook played less than anybody else among forwards. Really? Amazing. I thought Carolina looked very Canesy tonight. And if I could speak for a second about the freedom that they must feel, not to play, but to be, after everything that happened here. And I'm not trying to use that as a crutch, because through all of it, Carolina still won a bunch of hockey games, right? They come out of the 4 nations. They lose those first 2, Toronto and Montreal. They don't look good. Jordan Staal and Rod Brindamore both say it in the locker room after the game. We're not we've lost our identity. We're trying to be something we're not. Since then, they're trying to be who they are. And don't you know, since those 2 losses in Toronto, the only game they lost was the tight one with Edmonton. That's it. They've won every other game. Right? Is that do I have that correct? I believe I do. Yep. You came back from Montreal. You beat the Sabres here. You lost to the Oilers 3-1. That was the game. It was just a tight game. Now you've won 5 in a row. That's 6 of your last 7. Canes are, I believe, a season high plus 17 over NHL 500. And they're looking like the Carolina Hurricanes look. Now, we can spend all day talking about, well, still be nice to score a few more goals, and I'm with you. Carolina still is not getting the most in terms of goal scoring out of these opportunities, but that's the way they want it to look. The goals will come. You have to believe in that. But this is what it's supposed to look like. You get strong defensive performance from everybody on the blue line. You don't mismanage the puck, especially against a team like Tampa. Look, the Lightning are going to create their own opportunities. They're too good not to. And I love the team. They added one of my favorite players in the league at the deadline, Oliver Bjorkstrand, used to be with Columbus, spent a couple of years in Seattle, now is in Tampa. I hate that because we might have to beat Tampa at some point in the playoffs. I hope. And I think Oliver Bjorkstrand is not only an excellent player, but he's one of those guys that kills Carolina on the regular. But they also get Yanni Gourde back from Seattle. So this is a team that now really does roll 3 lines deep. And they have a lethal power play. And coming into this game, in the 2 previous games against Carolina, Tampa was 3 for 9 in the power play. Hurricanes were 0 for 5. By the way, something to that number, 0 for 5. We'll get to that. But the Hurricanes were just super solid. Only had to kill 1 penalty. That was in the first period. And Carolina scored the goal on it. Let me talk about that goal for a second. For 1 second. We could have 50 more games left in this season. 17 in the regular season, and we probably can't get to 50. We could have 40 some odd more games left in this season. I promise you, we are not going to get a better goal than that. Seth Jarvis, man, just gets it done. What a play. He and Aho combined for the defensive play at the blue line, dig the puck out. Aho kicks it ahead to Jarvis, who somehow got ahead of Darren Radish on his offside. Got in front, somehow got his body to the point where he could get it in front of Radish, and then just snapped one upper corner, upper right hand side of the net, over the glove, just under the bar inside the post for 1-0, shorthanded. 2 seconds are left on that power play for Tampa. And on that power play, the first minute 44 were all spent in the Hurricanes' end. Carolina couldn't get the puck out of Dodge, and Tampa was just pounding pucks at the net. Now, they didn't have like a ton of great scoring chances, but you don't need that on a power play. If you keep getting the puck back, you're eventually going to get a bounce. Kochetkov had to make a couple of good saves and eventually did find the puck in the crease and cover it up. I mean, he made some good saves on it. I'm not saying that there weren't any of those, but they were probably not necessarily great scoring chances. But again, you have the extra guy. Sometimes your power play goals are simply scored on rebounds. Again, extra player. But Kochetkov held him in, got the whistle. Then Aho and Jarvis came on. It was a minute 44 with the first 4 penalty killers. Aho and Jarvis come on. I think it was Burns, Slavin, Staal, and Martinook had to get off. Aho comes on, loses the faceoff. He and Jarvis ultimately win the puck back, and then the goal is the goal. You're not going to find a better goal. They're not going to score a better goal this year. They haven't scored a better goal all season. It was awesome. And the building just absolutely, roof came off. So Jarvis is just getting into late season mode. If you go back and you look at Seth last year, the second half of the year, roughly, he was a point a game and just noticeable shift after shift after shift. We have entered that part of Seth Jarvis's season. Now, one more thing before we talk a little bit about a player who didn't play tonight. The power play. What can you say? It's not good. All right, I'm going to throw a number at you. 2 numbers at you. The first number is 7.4%. The second number is 8%. If I told you that in the calendar year 2025, since then, however many games that is, in the calendar year 2025, while on the power play, the Hurricanes have scored 6 out of 81 tries. 6 out of 81. That is 7.4% on the power play. While shorthanded, the Hurricanes have scored 6 out of 75 opportunities. That is 8%. In 2025, the Hurricanes have a greater chance of scoring a shorthanded goal than they do a power play goal. Shake my head. Holy cow. Now, it may sound like I'm upset about that. In a strange, perverse way, I'm not. The power play will have to figure itself out. I can't explain it. Carolina tonight had back-to-back penalties, including 59 seconds of a 5-on-3, and this is the way I termed it on Blue Sky and Twitter. I said, hey, the Canes managed to kill off consecutive penalties, including 59 seconds of a 5-on-3. Pause, break. Of course, it was their own power play, but impressive nonetheless. At this point, all we can do is make a joke because it is bad. And it is not getting better. And I'm telling you who it's about. It's not about scheme. It's because we've seen the same players, the same exact players before probably before December. The same exact players whip the puck around, move each other around, and score a bunch of goals. There was a time where the Hurricanes' power play was at about 25%. I don't remember those times either, but I know it because I've seen it. It's about the players, and right now the players are wrapped so tight on the power play, I can't even explain it. It's so bad. But they didn't really, they gave up one good scoring chance, but Kochetkov stopped, I think, Brandon Hagel on a 2-on-1. But those are real numbers. I did the math on that. Better 8% scoring shorthanded, 7.4% scoring with the power play. Gosh, that's so bad. I can't even. All right. I promised yesterday somebody asked me to talk about it, and I will. Andrei Svechnikov. I don't know how long he's going to be out. Hopefully it won't be very long. They need Andrei back. Even Andrei playing the way he's playing is necessary. Sure, I mean, if he commits enough penalties, Carolina might score more goals, right? So, there's really two elements to this conversation about Andrei. I'm not going to spend a ton of time because I want to get back to one more thing. We haven't seen anything close on a regular basis to the best of Andrei. Everything we've seen, there are times where he's played really well, and we always say the same thing. Maybe this is what gets him going. Well, nothing has gotten him going this year. And I don't know what that reason is. I don't know what the reason is for that. He hasn't had a good year. I mean, we could argue that to a certain extent, similar, but not the same, obviously, for Sebastian Aho. I mean, I think Aho has been mostly very good, but he has not been consistently very good offensively. He gets plenty of points. He's, second on the team to Jarvis in goals. So it's not like he's been bad. But we have a standard for Aho that's pretty high, and he hasn't met it. Whatever our standard is for Andrei Svechnikov, he hasn't met that. His injury, though, is problematic because they need him. And if they get him back and they get him back to what he's supposed to be, which is dynamic, fast, physical, has no bleeps to give type of an Andrei, then they'll be better for it. But he's wrapped in trying to be a fancy playmaker when this team simply needs him to throw his body around. By the way, we don't know what the injury is. It says undisclosed. And I can't recall if he took a puck to the lower body, or maybe it's like really upper body all the way, like here in your head. I don't know what the injury is. Anyway, they need Andrei to be great in terms of speed and physicality. All the other stuff, all the offense, all the scoring, all the assists, all the playmaking will come if Andrei just plays a super simple game. I'm begging him. Pop in, go dial up YouTube and say, Siri, I'm just completely mixing all sorts of platforms here. Siri, show me Eric Cole highlights. Put that on, watch that, and go, I want to be like that guy. That's who Andre needs to be. Andre needs to stop trying to be fancy, because if they can get good Andre, it takes them to a different place. He is the only big forward, well, in terms of their scorers. And I guess I should consider Mark Jankowski a scorer. Although, how do you have the puck in the slot, Mark, and pass up the shot? You're on a heater. Shoot the puck. But they need better from Andre. There's no doubt about it. It's going to be tough to win a Stanley Cup without the best version of Andre. It's going to be tough to win a Stanley Cup with the best version of Andre. But they really need Andre to get back to being the power forward he is and not worry about being fancy. All right, now I said I wanted to get back to one thing that we talked about earlier. And I just want to say that it's now 3 starts in a row for Pyotr Kochetkov, where he was really, really outstanding. Game against Calgary here, he had very little work, but early in the second period, I mean, he was just a miracle worker. Then it was the game here against Boston, where Carolina was no good. That was the night before the trade deadline, the game that Mikko Rantanen shouldn't have played in. But Kochetkov saved Carolina. He was amazing. Stole the game. Should have lost the game. Kochetkov wouldn't let him. You could make the argument that Carolina, should have lost the game, or at least, had to come back to win it. Maybe they would have. But Tampa probably should have scored. I think John Cooper, after or in the middle of the first period, or late in the first period, in the interview on ESPN, said we should probably have 3 goals by now. Yeah, probably. Braden Point shoveled one wide. There was a couple of deflections that just missed the post. So, I mean, Carolina got a little bit lucky tonight. But Kochetkov, what do we say? You earn your luck. And Kochetkov was obviously very, very good tonight. I thought tracked the puck really well. I don't think he saw the Gonsalves goal that made it 3-1. I don't think he saw it, which, fair, good traffic in front, as there was on most of Carolina's goals. Sean Walker, that's through traffic. Good for him to score for the first time in 42 games. So he was really good. And I remember when Freddie Anderson came back from the injury, I was talking, because I am of the mind that Anderson helped Carolina solve 2 problems. One, I thought it would give them stability in the number 1 chair, if you will, among Hurricanes goaltenders, meaning him. And I thought it solidified Carolina as having maybe the second best, having the best backup goalie in the sport. All respect to Jonathan Quick and the Rangers. But and for that, in that reasoning, I had Carolina's goaltending suddenly looks awesome. I thought Freddie, Freddie's first 4 games were dynamite at the beginning of the season. Then he goes away, he has the knee surgery, comes back, and it was decent at first, but he hasn't really been good until the last couple of games. So now you've got both of these guys playing well. Kochetkov, last 3 games have been just awesome. How long that continues, I don't know. But if Pyotr wants to play like that, he's going to make the decision not only hard, but easy. I think in his heart of hearts, Rod wants Frederik Andersen to be the better of the 2 goalies. Because I think Rod believes that he can trust Andersen just a little bit more. Even today, we saw Kochetkov skate into areas of the ice in pursuit of the puck where you kind of wished he wouldn't have done it. Because all of a sudden you give the puck away and then you give away a goal. Much like happened in the game against Winnipeg where he gave the puck to Adam Lowry, who just didn't even dust it off. He just smacked it at the net. Boom. It's a goal. Granted, it made it 4-2 inside of, a minute, right around a minute, so not a big deal. But Kochetkov doesn't necessarily strike me as someone who is keenly aware of how much time is left on the clock. Just doesn't strike me that way. So I just would rather him play a smarter game. But anyway, he was awesome. And now you've got Anderson going on Friday here against Detroit. Kochetkov will go Saturday in Philadelphia as Carolina. After that game, they get 4 days off. So the Hurricanes get 2 more days off here. They're off Wednesday and Thursday, play Friday and Saturday. Then they get 4 days off. Hopefully by that time, Svechnikov will be back. Hopefully by that time, Orlov will be back. Can't believe I just said that out loud, but maybe I mean it. I probably don't. But in those 2 games, I wouldn't hate to see Bradley Nadeau. I realize you've got 12 healthy forwards here right now, so the Hurricanes might not do that because they've got 12 healthy forwards. But, man, I would love to see Nadeau just to see what he can do in games that aren't throwaway games. He played the last 2 games of last year. He's got a great shot. He's been using it in Chicago in the American Hockey League. So Kochetkov was great. I mean, first star of the game. Power play was terrible. Seth Jarvis and Jackson Blake as a duo were dynamite. And we talked about Andre. And by the way, from Jerry, shouts to you, Jerry, Jack Rolexovich. Yeah, it's good. It's good because he got the Rolex for giving Mikko Rantanen, our old friend, number 96. Roslovic moved to number 98 and now is back to number 96 because and he has the Rolex. So that's pretty good work for Roslo to get that and get that check and now get your number back. All right. So standings as we sit, I think we went over that, right? We don't need to do it again. It's been a long, long couple of days, man. I thank everybody for joining us here on the Canes Corner podcast. Shouts to you wherever you are. Thank you so much for making this just a super amount of fun. We got through the trade deadline, and now it's about putting this team together and figuring out what works as we get ready. 17 games left in the regular season. That's it. 17 games left. Canes look like they might be dangerous. Going to need the power play to be better than the penalty kill. In terms of goal scoring, that is. Those numbers are amazing. All right, we got to go. Brought to you by the Aluminum Company of North Carolina. If it is for the exterior of your home, you can find it at the Aluminum Company of North Carolina on Hamlin Road in Durham. No place like it. Sammy Hannon and his crew do a great job. You should check them out. Oh, I'm going to see Sammy tomorrow. Shouts to you, Sammy. We'll see everybody. Quick. I apologize. I'm sure most of you have already checked out. No podcast Friday. We will podcast Saturday. No podcast Friday. Personal reasons. Sorry in advance. No podcast Friday. See everybody Saturday after the Canes and the Flyers. Good night.